So, part 2 of Deep Shock. Sorry, I never do part 2s. So they've sent a bunch of submarines. We've established this. They've all just about launched a 1 megaton nuclear warhead each at this trench. The good guys, her and Senor Buttchin, are out in a mini-sub communicating with the eels that they're trying to destroy. And the eels confirm that Earth is not our own. Earth is theirs. They were here first. They got frozen in the ice, and now they are trying to melt the ice caps to flood the Earth so that they can take it over like they planned. And, like, they came here as aliens millions of years ago, and there's no earthly word for their species or the name of this planet, like the true name of Earth. All of that is eldritch horror in the extreme. You're talking with Cthulhu right now. If you have a nuclear bomb, you launch it. But no. And she gives no other reason for why she thinks that these things have a right to exist. She's just like, okay, how can we save these things? And Buttchin's like, I'm sorry I ever doubted you, which, like, I still don't know what that means. Like, she told him and us at the same time what her theory of what was in the trench was, which means that he was doubting her science before she said, there are giant electric eels that are hyper intelligent and trying to communicate with us using their electric fields in the polar ice cap trench that has magically opened up. What were you doubting? And of course you would doubt that, because that's stupid. But now he's had a change of heart and he's totally in love with her again and she's feeling it. And so he's like, how can I help you? And she's like, I've got a plan. The bombs are already flying towards them underwater, so it's too late to get them out of there. What we're gonna do is, we're gonna leave in the mini-sub, but we're gonna prep the underwater base so that when the bombs go off, it'll flood, and then they can use it as a cocoon to hide in for 1,000 years or more. And then we'll escape in the mini-sub. I guess that was the plan. The plan changes like 4 times. They get back to the base and they find Dr. Chomsky unconscious on the ground. And they're like, hey, what happened? And he was like, an eel came aboard the ship and we communed. And she's like, oh, cool. What did he learn from you? I think this is in the order it happens in the movie, because I can't keep any of it straight anymore. I feel like she should have been like, oh, you commune with them? What kind of knowledge did they impart to you? Because that's how it worked for her. Did it open your eyes? Are we finally on the same page? But no, she's like, they tortured information out of you. What did you tell them? With your brain and not with your mouth. And he's like, they know the plan. The bombs are flying towards them or whatever. Like, they understand. So, I'm like, okay, fine. I don't really care. I thought they were hyper intelligent anyways, and they're able to detect ships from, like, miles out, so, like, they would know. So she and Buttchin go to the command center to, like, disengage the stuff that keeps it, like, anchored to the side of a mountain or whatever, or something, so that it'll sink. And then they're like, okay, then we'll go get on the mini-sub. And then she goes to, like, prep the mini-sub, and he pulls out a gun and is like, I'm getting on the mini-sub. I don't care. I'm getting out of here. You guys can stay. And she's like, no. And they have a really horribly choreographed fight scene. And he wins and then gets on the sub, and she goes back to the main office area control center, and she tells Buttchin, it actually doesn't matter. See, I wanted him to get onto the mini-sub because the mini-sub is almost out of power. So he will get about 20 seconds out from the base, lose power, and then die horribly. And Buttchin is just kind of like, cool. So we're gonna also die horribly now, though, right? Because we're in a sinking sea lab situation to the bottom of the ocean floor. We're gonna get crushed like a tin can in like a minute. And we're running out of oxygen anyways. So I guess we gave it a good shot. And she's like, yeah, we did. But I think we saved them. And then the electric eels start getting in the flooded areas of the sea base, and they like raise it to the surface. I think they like power up everything in it and raise it to the surface because they're electric eels, so they just give it more power, and it swims and it goes up. And they get to the surface and they like climb out of the top hatch, and then it sinks back to the ocean floor, and doesn't collapse like a tin can, with all the eels inside, so that they can make a little cocoon there and rest for 1,000 years and then take over the Earth. Mark Shepard's character, Dr. Chomsky, does indeed get about 20 seconds out. Explosions start going off from the nuclear bombs actually finally hitting, and he's like giving out maydays and stuff, which is kind of funny because if there's no power, the radio's not gonna work. And the eels are like circling him, and he's like, ah, and he's just making this face over and over and over again. And then it's the Titan submersible situation where it implodes in an instant, and it's just like a really uncomfortable sound, and the look of it is so bad, CGI and stuff, and it's just. So she goes back to the UN afterwards and says, oh yeah, no, they were definitely all killed. But don't go looking for 5 years, because the radiation's going to be really bad. And so the UN just goes, we believe you, lady, who has every reason to lie to us. Why were you sent on this mission? So they agree to not go there for 5 years to give the eels time to just hang out and hide. Again, we are supposed to be rooting for this character who wants to destroy all life on Earth in perpetuity. Also, one species cannot inherit the Earth entirely because they'd have nothing to eat. What were they eating in the Arctic anyways? And the last lines that I can remember are him saying, boy howdy, I hope I'm long gone by the time those things come out again. Then why did you save them? And then he and she decide to actually go home together and presumably sleep together for the first time since their marriage basically ended. Ending all life on Earth saved their marriage. Oh, congrats. You both deserve each other. This movie has a 3.1 out of 10 and a 10% on Rotten Tomatoes, and honestly, it is the worst movie I think I've ever seen. It is not even, like, enjoyably bad. This is truly a miserable experience where you're going, wait, why are we following the bad guys the entire time? None of it makes any sense. Every single choice is just so stupid. Oh my god! And then the message of it is like, let's not stop global warming in 2003? What are you talking about? Oh, but at least they're so cute. Oh god. Genuinely, I think the worst movie I've ever seen. And I like bad movies. Like, I love bad movies, but this was just bad in a way that's totally irredeemable. All the characters suck, are flat, have nonsensical motivations, do terrible, stupid things constantly. When they do have a character quirk, it's usually like commenting on a woman's body, or it seems like the actors are riffing about how much they want to sleep with a woman. Great. And then the actual plot itself makes no sense. The point of the movie is terrible. And it's like the politics of the movie is so confusing that I don't even know if I understand it. So if you have any movie recommendations, I'm totally open to any.